Everyone, how's it going? So, I want to break down the trailer for the finale here of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 3. Yeah, we're actually here. It's time. The last episode's airing next Sunday, and then all the hype, I guess, for the final season, because this show's going to be over, right? And it's kind of insane to say, but I mean, this show did start a couple of years ago already. Yeah, I think it'll be kind of, it'll be exciting, I think, when the show does end, because it's sort of an end of an era, like the standalone spin-off era, right? Because obviously, I mean, there's been spin-offs, I mean, there's going to continue to be spin-offs, but like, just with the standalone characters and everything, it'll sort of be like the end of that era, and then we'll go into, I'm assuming, all of the characters reuniting, and so, yeah, a lot to talk about here. So before going further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. Now, in this trailer, we do see Carol at the Lighthouse here. So you have this one shot here of like, the mountains and everything, and you actually do see a vehicle on the road. And so, yeah, I imagine Carol gets here with Roberto, and so Roberto gets help here. And then, I mean, there's going to be a lot of issues, obviously, because Fede doesn't know that Roberto left. And so there's going to be, I mean, right away, he's going to find out, okay, so Roberto left with Carol. And just all the stuff that Antonio brought up at the very end of episode 6. I think that's why in this trailer, just all the things that we're seeing with Antonio in this trailer, I don't know if, he's sentenced to death or like what's happening here, but it looks like something crazy is happening in this community. And I will say the whole thing about Fede being a villain now, I don't think he's going to necessarily be a villain. Like, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. As of right now, I think that he's clearly not the villain, but I mean, just with what's happening, it's kind of, I mean, obviously people are questioning it right now, right? Like, I'm seeing a lot of responses of like, I didn't see him becoming a villain, this and that. I really just think it's one of those things where he's trying to keep this place safe. And it's equivalent to Shane in season 2, almost in a sense, but not as crazy, right? Like, Shane was definitely much more of a villain. I would say that Fede is not necessarily there yet. I don't know if he will get there, though, but I do wonder if the whole thing between Fede and Antonio could really ever be resolved, ever. Like, we'll have to wait and see. I think if Roberto or Justina, I think if they're gone, maybe that's something that does unite them, or maybe it just makes things worse, right? We'll have to wait and see where things go here for season 4. Obviously, the finale, I think, will decide a lot of this here. If Roberto is gone or Justina, like what happens, I guess after that. And the build, I guess, for season 4, I do think that these characters are probably going to die in the finale, like Roberto and Justina. I just feel like they're going to be gone because I just don't see the characters being there. I think Cadrone could show up here in the finale, and we'll talk about that, but I just think that they're building up to like this really crazy final battle, and Daryl and Carol are just stuck in this thing right now until they can actually, leave. And I think that Carol's helping out, but Daryl still wants to go. And I do like the fact that Daryl still wants to go. He's helping out, but he really does want to go home. And so, yeah, I think that that's sort of what we're seeing here at first is we're just seeing Roberto, obviously at the Lighthouse here. He's just, I guess, getting help or whatever. But then Carol finds out that Antonio's in trouble. And so it looks like Carol is going to be going to Salas del Mar to help out Antonio. And so, I mean, it is interesting that you see Fede here, and he says, you've made yourself a problem. And like, that's the thing, I'm trying to look at it from his perspective. Like, it makes sense because for him, it's like, I'm trying to keep this place safe. He is doing a lot of messed up stuff, to keep this place safe. But it's one of those things where, like, if he doesn't listen, will everyone die? Or like, you know what I mean? So I do think that it's one of those things where he's doing it for everybody, but there's just a lot of messed up things there. And obviously Daryl and Carol being there just caused a lot of problems here. And he's just trying to keep things peaceful because he doesn't want to deal with El Alcazar, right? But there is the whole thing of, I think he is being very selfish. And there is something that is kind of messed up with the character because there's all that medicine. There's all that stuff there. Like, there's a lot of things that he's sort of keeping for himself. And there's all these secrets and all of this stuff. And so, he's kind of protecting the community, yes, but it's almost for himself. And so, he is kind of turning into a villain a little bit. And so we'll have to see where this goes here. I think, obviously by the finale. And I mean, I think Antonio's going to survive for sure because there was a teaser for season 4. And I believe that Antonio was in it. And I think Fede should be alive in season 4. I don't see the character dying in season 3 or like in this last episode here. I think the character should make it. We then see some shots here of Daryl, and it looks like they actually kind of go to, I guess, I don't know if this is in Barcelona still, or where they're at. But yeah, Daryl and Paz are here, and yeah, they infiltrate this base here. And so Daryl has this mask on. I'm not sure what this mask is, but yeah, he's here. Obviously, I guess he's trying to blend in with whatever is happening here. I'm not sure if there's some sort of ceremony happening, and he's just trying to sneak through here. Like, I feel that's probably what is happening here. So, I mean, we do see this really cool shot here of like these walker puppets here. That's really cool because in season 2, I think it was, or maybe it was season 1. I don't actually remember what season it was. It might have been season 2, or I literally can't remember, season 1 or 2. There was like the Walker band or whatever, right? Like, they did something really cool with the Walkers there, and they're kind of doing the same thing here. So this is like a play or something, and everyone's watching this. That's going to be a really, I think, pretty wild scene. I think just like this place in general is just really interesting because it's just like, it's stuff that we haven't seen before. Like, if you're just looking at the staircase here, this building is absolutely just insane. Like, it looks incredible, and Daryl is walking around here, and yeah, obviously El Alcazar is here. He's in their base, and so I mean, he can see everyone here. I believe Justina is actually there. Everyone is there with, I guess, the soon-to-be king, Torres, and I wonder if this is going to be the episode here where we learn a lot more about this place. And I do think, obviously, it is the finale, so we're going to learn a lot, but I think, if they're going to be the villains of season 4, we're going to know a lot more about this place in general here in this episode. It's not just going to be like, this thing happening or whatever. We're probably going to learn a lot about like the characters here and like some of the history. There could be some Easter eggs about the overall apocalypse, just sort of anything. There could be like a CRM mention. Like, honestly, because it is the finale and we did get that Triple P reference a couple episodes ago, I wouldn't be surprised if something with the CRM or Major General Beale, or if it's like, oh, like we have some spies or whatever that, are from America, or just like something like that, right? Like, if Gimple had that crafted into this episode, I wouldn't be that surprised. It wouldn't be the most obvious, I feel like it could be something where you see a character say something or whatever, but has nothing to do with the story. That's something that I see happening, honestly. Like, I could see that because we've just gotten things like that just kind of in general. And, Scott Gimple does that quite a bit. So I could see that happening here in this episode. We do see Carol go to Salaz Del Mar, and it looks like something does happen here. There's some sort of confrontation. So this is going to be her story here in this episode. And yeah, Fede does find out. There's actually a shot here where you do see Carol, Roberto, and Antonio, and it looks like they're like trapped or something like that. Like, Roberto is stuck. And so something is happening here where there's walkers, or they're all just kind of scared of whatever. And so I do think that they're being surrounded either by the whole community, or is it walkers, or what's going on? Like, something crazy is going to happen here. And yeah, it kind of looks like, honestly, the way this season is going to end. Well, I'm not going to say the way that it ends, but Daryl and Carol will be apart, I think, for most of this episode. Like, I think that Daryl and Carol will have separate stories and then at the end reunite, because we did get that scene from episode 7. I feel like, just based off this trailer, where the characters are at, that's going to happen closer to the end of the episode. And, I've seen some criticism of like Daryl and Carol being separated, and I don't really understand it. Like, I just don't get the complaining about that. Like, to me, I think it's fine. Daryl and Carol can't be together in a storyline constantly. Like, that would get so incredibly boring. I think that it's fine when the characters are apart. Like, I think with Maggie and Negan in Dead City, it was very similar. There were a lot of complaints about that. I think it's okay if the characters are apart for a while doing whatever with the story. Like, I think that it's fine. It's literally fine. I think that's where you get really interesting character pairings. Like, if you look back to The Walking Dead, you always had different characters just in different spots. And, you would have different character pairings going to like, this place or that place. Like, just, it was different for the story, right? And I think it keeps things fresh. You can explore, how do these characters interact, or like what would happen here or whatever, right? I think it's fine. I literally think it's totally fine. Daryl being on his own was awesome. I think Carol's story here in Salaz Del Mar, she's the perfect character to be dealing with all of this. This goes back to The Walking Dead. This is stuff that she's always dealt with, even at the Commonwealth. She pretty much, she found out a lot of stuff about Pamela Milton, just like all of that. I think that it works so well with the character's abilities. Like, Carol is so good with a storyline like this. Daryl is so good with the storyline that he's had. It just makes so much sense. It fits the characters so well. So, yeah, I think that, honestly, the fact that they've actually been apart for the last couple of episodes, I think is totally fine. I do think that, I mean, if you think about it, it's literally like 2-3 episodes or something. Like, I mean, I guess that's close to half the season. But even then, if they were apart for most of the season, I think it would be fine depending on the context. In the context here, Daryl's trying to save Justina, and then, Carol is dealing with a lot of stuff that they kind of dealt with, I guess, all season here. And I think she's dealing with, honestly, probably, I don't want to say it's the biggest part of the story, but I mean, like, Daryl, I mean, he's in a scary situation too, obviously, but Carol is also dealing with Fede and, like, potentially, I mean, maybe she ends up getting killed by the community, or, like, Antonio, Roberto. There's just, like, all this stuff happening there, and, like, they're trying to get back home and everything. So there's just all of those things that she's dealing with. So yeah, overall, I'm excited for the finale. I cannot wait for this episode. I think that my predictions in terms of deaths, I really feel like I'm not going to change anything. I do think that Justina and Roberto are going to die. I probably will give like a death predictions, but also just a general predictions video for the finale, because I do think that Cadron's likely going to return. I could totally see that happening, like a post-credit scene, or maybe it matters as a part of the story. I would say I think if he was to show up, it would just be him like making it out of the tunnel, because I don't see the character just showing up in Spain. That would make no sense at all. And as for how the character ends up in Spain, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Like, I'm curious on that. Like, if he actually does come back for season 4, like, it makes sense to me. I think the character is likely going to come back. It's just how, like, how could that be a thing? Like, it's the final season, you have to have the character there. The character just sort of ran off and went missing. Like, you're not going to leave a character that was, I guess, a really big part of season 1 and 2. Like, he had a pretty big role, I would say, in both seasons. Like, the character wouldn't just be gone, so yeah, I'm excited to see where all that's going to go. I think it's going to feel really cool, honestly, to have like some of the France characters in Spain, and then just like, if Daryl reunites with Laurent and like Ash is there and whatnot, that'll be kind of a cool thing, I think, in the final season. So a lot to look forward to here. I really cannot wait, but I'm gonna leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.